Take you back to the Cape Town Magistrate's Court now. That's where former MMC for Human Settlements Malusi Booi and 9 co-accused have just been granted bail. That happened in the last hour. They all face charges of money laundering, fraud and corruption related to a tender worth more than R1 billion. And that's when Malusi Booi was head of the Human Settlements Directorate in the city. Let's bring in our reporter, Nasipi Same, who's been tracking the story. Good afternoon, Nasipi. I mean, it looked at one stage as if bail would not be granted, the magistrate having very little patience for some of the affidavits that were submitted by the accused in this case.
Well, Michelle, fortunately for the 10 accused, the state indicated from the onset that they will not be opposing bail, proposing just last week that bail be set between 20,000 Rand and 200,000 Rand for the 10 applicants, or rather accused. And today, I suppose, it's a sigh of relief, not only for the 10 accused, as the bail amount has been set to about 1.5 million Rand for all 10 accused, with Malusi Booi having to post about 250,000 Rand bail. But to talk to us further about the decision made by the Cape Town Magistrate Court, I'm joined by Eric Ntabazalila. Eric, you know, the amount has obviously increased from the proposal put forward last week by the state, from a bail amount of 20,000 Rand to 250,000 Rand.
Yes, you'll remember that we proposed bail amounts between 20,000 and 200,000, and the court came to a different decision, which we welcome, increasing the bail amounts from between 25,000 and 250,000, and including bail conditions, which include that they must not make contact with the witnesses directly or indirectly. They must not leave the provinces where they are based without contacting the investigating officer and supplying the investigating officer with an itinerary of their trips and when they will come back. We are happy with that outcome, and now we'll come back on the 16th of October, where we will join, we'll get 2 new accused joined into this case, which will be Ralph Stanfield and his wife.
Eric, the magistrate poking a number of holes in the affidavits submitted or read in court by the various legal representatives last week. If you could take us through that also.
Yes, she did mention that the accused, most if not all of them, did not provide enough documents to allow her to come into their favor in terms of the bail application. For example, they failed to provide salary documents or bank statements, which will show what are the expenditures, their expenditures, where the monies will come from. They did not indicate the amounts that they proposed, what were they based on, and why they can't afford the amounts that the state was proposing. As a result, the bail conditions were changed and increased instead.
We understand that there's been there's 15 counts among the 10 accused. If you could take us through some of those charges again.
Yes, there are 15 in total, which range between the contravention of the Poker Act to money laundering, fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud. Yeah, and not all of them are charged with the same charges. Others are charged with 2, 1, and different charges. Yes.
You just touched on it now. 16th of September, we understand that they'll be coming back with 2 additional accused. How do these 2 accused, Ralph Stanfield and his wife Nicole Johnson, tie into this case?
In the charge sheet, we show that they were the leaders of the enterprise of which these 10 accused were part of. They were leading this enterprise, which we call Ralph Stanfield and Nicole Johnson enterprise, where more basically it was about them getting tenders, which were then benefiting the leaders as well as the members of this enterprise. You'll remember that it was explained in court by our prosecutor that there were 8 tenders instead of 11, within a total amount of 1.024 billion rands, which were tendered for by this enterprise, using some members of this enterprise who were based at the municipality, especially accused one, who was based at the municipality, was the head of the housing department there, and having the tenders channeled to them. We've got enough evidence, which we told the court that we will use to prosecute this case, which will include, we'll have witnesses, we'll have writing experts, and we'll have linguistic experts as well.
And then lastly for us, maybe I might be pushing it, but do we know whether or not the accused will be posting bail today?
We've seen some of them approaching the prosecutor already, asking for the charge sheet so that they can go and pay for the bail amount. Some of the lawyers have indicated that they'll be paying today. I'm sure maybe today or tomorrow people will start paying, collecting money and starting to pay for the bail amounts.
While the matter has been postponed to the 16th of October, is there a likelihood that possibly more charges could be added to these 10, possibly 12 accused?
Look, this is a live investigation. It's continuing. Anything can come up. If there is evidence which has been unearthed and which leads to more charges or even more accused being added on the docket, we will not hesitate to do so.
Looking at the nature of the crime, intimidation, contravention of the Poker Act, money laundering and the likes, including fraud and forgery, what was the reason that motivated the state to not oppose the Schedule 5 offences?
Look, all the accused, which works to their advantage, is that they cooperated. We've been able to prove their addresses, confirm them, and they are not flight risk, and they've got clean records except accused 2, who's out on bail on another matter related to this. She's out on bail of 10,000 rands. So most of them, in fact all of them, they've got clean records except 2. They are not flight risk. We are not worried about them interfering or committing other Schedule 1 offences.
Unfortunately, we'll have to leave it there. Eric Ntabazalila, NPA spokesperson in the Western Cape, giving us an update so far as today's proceedings, including, the investigations and some of the evidence that the state has and the reasons behind the state indicating that they will not be opposing bail. As it stands, 10 accused, one of them being former MACO member in the city of Cape Town, Malusi Booi, all being put forward, rather, that bail is posted between 25,000 rand all the way up to 250,000 rand, and in total, all 10 accused will be paying about, the amount for all 10 accused, is close to 1.5 million rand for those tenders that Eric Ntabazalila goes into.
Yeah, a drop in the ocean, Nasipi, given that it's a tender or tenders worth over R1 billion when he was head of the Human Settlements Directorate in Cape Town. That's Malusi Booi. Nasipi Same, thanks for that update. She's live to us there at the Cape Town Magistrates Court.